Welcome back to the Club Podcast, brought to you by NordVPN. NordVPN are sponsoring the channel throughout the entirety of Euro 2024. A big shout out to those guys. Thank you very much.
Saka and Jude combining.
Amazing, and a clean sheet. Clean sheet is about as significant as anything after the 3 points. You know,
it wasn't convincing, was it? It wasn't like we played off the park, but you take it. We 100% take it.
Also, first game in the group. It's simply about accruing the 3 points, isn't it? Make sure that you win the game. Bellingham in the goals is obviously huge, and Pickford and Gahey. That's going to really inspire their confidence. Brilliant.
It doesn't rule it out, but the fact that 4 third place teams can get through, winning your first game, it gives you really, really.
Yeah, you're through, aren't you? Yeah.
Are there any big changes needed for Denmark? Very quickly.
I'd go again, same lineup.
Same lineup.
Yeah.
Wouldn't mind seeing Gordon
I'd bring Dolb. Oh, are you talking about
Next game? Yeah. Would you change anything going into the next game?
Bless you.
Thank you.
I was thinking about changing the Danish lineup to bring Dolberg in. I would say that's the team, man.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Does Alexander-Arnold keep his place in midfield?
Yeah, I'd keep him, honestly. I'd keep him until, we've got the lead. Bring Connor on, run him around, get physical and cling on for the rest of it. Again, this is like the results or the performances are not that important. As long as they get game time and win.
So Foden start?
Yeah.
I'm not sure Foden.
How much are we going to see from him on that position, realistically?
He doesn't like it out there.
Is he going to impact it?
He
has to like it out there, though.
First half, though,
not in the sense. I think he applied himself. He didn't do very well. He worked hard, but he doesn't like it.
That touch where he's turning and will be facing goal.
Yeah, he scored.
On another day, you bank. That's a banker.
If we get Luke Shaw in at some point, and there's someone hugging that touchline, making space.
So he can go in. Yeah.
It might change things, but at the moment, I'm not sure.
Also,
get Gordon in. Give him some time.
I'd like to see it.
Also, for I think if you support Serbia, I think you'd look at that. You've now played the team that I think most would say is the toughest team in the group. You've only lost 1-0, so your goal difference isn't massively affected. Played well, had your chances, certainly gave England some scares. Serbia got to be very confident about potentially progressing second in the group, haven't they?
They put a big performance in, no question about it. A couple of big chances. It's just they're facing one of the favourites of the tournament. Whether we think that England can win it or not, Serbia definitely put a good show in today.
No shame in losing to that
no
England
question.
team.
It's only 1-0.
Plus, they will have confidence anyway, man. They've qualified, I think, for the last 3 tournaments. He's got a good squad of players there.
Yeah, and a 1-0 defeat to England is about as good as it could be, isn't it?
Also, the nature of the game. If we were Serbia fans now and it was reversed, we'd be looking at that thinking, we could have got something from that.
Yeah,
we didn't really. Was that other save that he pushed onto the bar? That's more or less it.
Yeah,
good chances.
Yeah, I think the Foden issue is actually more significant than maybe we're giving credit to it. Say that game had finished 0-0 or 1-1, we'd be going. Just like if Serbia had nicked one towards the end, I think we'd really be discussing Phil Foden's contribution. And if he isn't comfortable out wide, do we need to stop shoehorning him into a team, play Anthony Gordon out wide, and then use Foden as a sub to play centrally when we need him?
Here's another shout that you probably hate, but it's less than the left back shout. Could Saka play left wing? Like, could he play as an out-and-out winger? And because I just think the way he likes to cross,
I think so.
If you do that, and then you had a Foden on the right, I actually prefer that than the other way around.
Do you know my issue with it, Spence? Bukayo Saka has been one of the most consistent performers both for England and in the Premier League for now, even not being generous to him, 3 years. I don't think we should be asking him to fall on his sword to accommodate anyone.
It's not about falling on his sword. It's about
the balance,
can he still be really good over there? And we haven't got a left-footed left.
However
back.
good he is over there, though, he's not going to be better over there than he is on his natural wing.
No, but could Foden be from the right potentially as effective as Saka, and then Saka be way more effective on the left than Foden?
You can't sacrifice Saka, who's got a proven track record of being very, very good for England as a right winger. I think the question of his days at left back for England are really over, unless it's at the final few minutes in a knockout game and there's a massive injury and there's no more subs left. That's it. I mean, he was fantastic today. His crossing ability on his right foot, tucking in on his left. He's a huge player for England this tournament.
That cross that he put in for Jude Bellingham. I know there was a ricochet, but did so well there. Did so well, made the goal. Yeah, I think
the same skill set he would do from the left, beat a man for pace, cross it in, he'd do it better because he'd have a better crosser. I'm not saying he's not a left winger, he's clearly a right winger and he's amazing there, but if you want to, it's just Gordon, isn't it?
I hate to say it, but I think the balance of the side doesn't work with Foden as a left winger. If Southgate can't balance it, I'd rather us win than Foden be number 10 just for a Man City's fans argument. But I think there's a world where Foden could play in that number 10. You could drop Bellingham, but then you miss Bellingham's goals, don't you?
But Foden's on the right.
There's no world where that.
Yeah, I think we've established just off today alone, he's undroppable.
Yeah. But I think that about Saka on the wing, on his
agree.
wing.
Yeah, 100%.
I think that about Saka. I think you know when you're looking for the answer, and I know that we're doing this for the discussion, but when you're looking for the answer, like certain things, they just are what they are. Like Harry Kane is the main striker. Like if there was another way of like accommodating someone, and it would mean that Harry Kane plays in, it's like no, Harry Kane's striker. If there's a way of accommodating someone, but it involves Saka, maybe no. Saka plays on the right.
I think there is more to it than that, though. I do agree generally. Like for years, we're trying to get Gerrard in silly positions, but I don't want to keep going back to it. But not having a left-footed left back, it does. So inverted wingers traditionally, you'd have a wide fullback coming in. So on the right side, whoever we play on the right, we have that because we're going to have Kyle Walker, and even Trent was assuming those positions today from centre mid. He was finding himself in the right attacking wing back area, and so it allows Saka or Foden or Palmer, whoever played Bowen, to cut in. Because we haven't got that at left back. If you play Anthony Gordon there, which I'm for, by the way, I think deserves a shout. You've got two people that want to cut in. So by playing Saka there, you keep the width, and you still get a really good right winger.
Yeah,
in Foden.
But then I don't understand why, when you could just put Gordon there and just keep Saka on the right.
You can play them both as
It's just the left side though. You haven't
exactly.
got that left.
I suppose the argument would be Phil Foden as Player of the Year, as champion this year, must be in the team. That's the argument. I don't necessarily agree with it, but the argument is Phil Foden must play for England. Like work out how, but you cannot have a starting 11 for England without.
I think he deserves
Phil
a
Foden
bad game in a position he's played this year.
Before you drop him.
Yeah, let Foden play on the right and bad. Don't drop Saka. But let him have it. I just think he deserves that. And then you can... Yeah, and then...
But that's two, because Iceland was probably the worst. That's the worst performance I've seen him put in England.
But a lot of players... It wasn't like... There's a lot of things wrong with that performance.
So would you start Foden in the next... Would you start Foden in the next game against Denmark?
The truth is I haven't seen Saka on the left. So I'm assuming he could do that. He could do that job. He could definitely do that job really well. He's got all the attributes to do it. He doesn't deserve to be moved. I agree with you on that. But I do think because of the left back situation, it could work.
Yeah, I think that's fair. What about you, Hugh?
Honestly, I reckon at this stage, knowing how important Saka is and seeing what he can deliver on a consistent basis, not only going forward but at the back as well, working back, I just put Gordon at wing back.
Yeah, a wing back or just
play three at the back and play Saka and Gordon as the wing backs. Trent is sort of. He'll help in when he can for Saka, but Gordon is quick enough to cover.
That's I like it. But if we look at it through what Gareth Southgate has already provided us with the template, which is 4, looking at it through the lens of realistically trying to predict what he does for Denmark. In your opinion, should Phil Foden keep his place in the team without going to 5 at the back and stuff? Looking at what Southgate has done,
I wouldn't have started him today, man. I told you that at the beginning.
He won't get dropped today.
And have you seen anything today from?
Yes.
Have you seen anything today?
You received the ball clean through on goal. You're 7 yards out, and the touch was horrendous.
So
if that was your striker, Nicholas Jackson for Chelsea, you're effing and blinding.
Yeah. No, I'm effing and blinding with it being Phil Foden.
It's hard.
Do you play Gordon?
Gordon takes that naturally on his right.
We don't know that. I'm sorry.
We've seen
I
it.
think
There
you
is
can
lots
make
of
a
evidence
decision
of Gordon
based on
scoring
If
goals last
football
year.
was on merit and you're going to purely off today, you would not play Phil Foden next game.
So Phil
But I
Foden
don't
dropped
think he'll
for
drop-
Anthony
but he
Gordon.
won't drop.
No, I get
think
why
he'll
he
play.
won't.
I just think there's an argument to be made where he starts again. I thought the first half, when he was coming into the centre quite a lot, he was the player in between the lines in that first half, occupying, sort of creating space for the players. I think he had a role in that first half when Trippier was higher up the pitch, and so he had a bit more space, and he came inside. But then in the second half, when Trippier started to sit further deep, it was at that point when actually you'd introduce someone like Gordon. So I don't know why he didn't do that. So I would start Foden if we start out like that again in the next game, but with the intention that Southgate's going to be proactive. Because my only concern today was I don't think the substitution's particularly great. I think we lost so much control when we made those. Our build-up play was poor when we made those substitutions.
Although I mean, if Jared Bowen's cross ends up in the back of the net when it hit the bar from Kane, suddenly that substitution looks like a masterpiece.
I thought to be honest with you, I'm lying. I thought Jared Bowen was a good substitution. It brought energy into it. Gallagher, I don't think Gallagher was.
I don't think Gallagher is for control though. You're bringing him on for chaos.
To create chaos in their play.
Work rate.
Yeah.
He's interesting that he didn't sub Foden off though, isn't it? He's interesting that he left him on.
I get it though, man. He's an enigma, isn't he? He's an unbelievable talent.
The point
Got players on the bench.
I think the point of bringing on Gallagher is to destabilise them. It isn't about necessarily. It may not even be anything to do with what it does for you, but it's about destabilising their rhythm. If they're getting a foothold in the game, he should be helping to nullify
the
that.
legs that he's got in comparison to Trent. There's no.
Yeah, exactly.
But
But
in terms of what Southgate's looking for, that aggression, that tenacity he's got, it's going to be priceless at some stage.
yeah, no doubt. And Jude Bellingham, I mean, he's opened the scoring for England. He's England's match winner. He's England's jewel in the crown. With him in the team, anything is genuinely possible, isn't it?
100%.
A lot of people are going to hate what's happened tonight.
Tell me.
He's gone from being the guy who's, waltzed his way through the season, but been slightly off the mark for the Champions League run-in. And now you could see he was exhausted in the final.
Yeah.
Literally. He's been going all year. And to now have had 2 minutes of break off and to be the main man again, sending us through the first 3 points of the tournament that's going to eat a lot of people up.
He's 20 years old.
Yeah. 20 years old, man.
It's just, we
He's a
forget
Galactico.
how much he's achieved already. This is his third tournament.
Yeah.
Third tournament.
That's outrageous, man.
Yeah.
And he's playing in a position, like in a leadership role, like all these things. It's not just like, he's nothing against Yamal, for example, but he's this right winger. You can be a little bit in and out the game as a winger. Do you know what I mean? If you have those moments of brilliance, you beat a man, you get a goal, you get an assist. But in his position, you can't hide.
Yeah. Have you seen?
He just doesn't.
No.
36 goal contributions for Jude Bellingham this season for club and country.
It's outrageous, mate.
Yeah, 25 goals, 16 assists.
And I like the way he's burst onto the scene because we look at Wayne Rooney in
Well, that's
2004.
41.
Wayne Rooney in 2004 burst onto the
going
scene.
on out here?
He's challenging people, smashing into people. David Beckham and Michael Owen. It's all explosive. Jude Bellingham's burst onto the scene in the most modest way possible. Just pure quality, pure silk. I don't see him getting sent off. That's what I'm trying to say. I don't see him smashing someone and getting sent off in the same way Rooney was or Gascoigne.
No, he's got a temperament, man, an unbelievable temperament, and he's not scared of anything or anyone. That's what I love about him. I find that's the most unbelievable thing about him. He's walked into Real Madrid where everyone should be putting their arm around him. I'm seeing him like he is the dad to guys who are like nearly twice his age. It's frightening what he could achieve if he stays sort of this grounded.
Yeah, no, 100%. Harry Kane, what do you make of his performance today? Obviously didn't get the goal, had the big opportunity in the second half. It wasn't a bad performance, I thought. I thought he led the line quite well.
One shot on target. I'll take that, Harry. Cheers.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I don't. I mean, by his own standards, he didn't do nothing.
It's not like he had a load of chances that he missed. He just didn't come.
But I thought he was quite clever in the second half. He got quite a few fouls when we needed it most. But he held up the ball really well in the second half.
Not what you do. Not enough from him, I don't think, though. From what I expect from Harry Kane, and also from what I think he expects from himself. I read an interview from him this morning where he was saying like, I'm expecting to win the Golden Boot. I'm expecting, like, putting huge amounts of pressure on himself. And I think he said something similar before the Russia World Cup, and he obviously did succeed in that prediction. But even from his own standards that he sets for himself, I don't think love it, Jude Bellingham. I just love it.
He bullied the guy and then he turned around and he didn't get the booking for it. Do you know what I mean? He's smart. He's street smart.
Ref scared
He's a
him,
street
that's why.
footballer as much as anything. He plays like he's on the streets.
The Real Madrid effect.
Yeah.
If there's a 50-50 decision that was not going to go your way before,
Yeah, it's going your way now, isn't
it
it?
could do now.
Yeah.
You feel like if the ref went to book him, he'd just look at him and go, no.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, amazing. This has set England up perfectly to progress. Feeling quite good about moving forward. Denmark, any fear going into that game?
Yeah,
Anyone?
They're decent.
Yeah, they're better than the other two. I
They're
think.
better than this lot, that's for sure. They've got history going quite far.
Yeah. Well, history of winning it actually that we don't. History of winning. History of winning it.
Did
Yeah,
they?
we've never won
Yeah.
it. It's just a reminder, isn't it? Wow, it's about time. Is this the year?
Yeah.
Let's not get carried away.
I don't know.
Avoid defeat against Denmark, and we're looking very good.
Yeah,
Avoid
superb.
defeat, yeah.
Avoid
Superb.
defeat.
Whoa, wait there. I'm terribly sorry for interrupting this clip, but I have something very exciting to tell you. We have partnered with NordVPN for the entire Euros. So this clip on the highlights is sponsored by Nord, and we are delighted to say that this partnership is reinvigorated. NordVPN is sensational. It will elevate your life in many ways. Trust me, I genuinely use this, and it is sensational. Pretend that you're on holiday. Pretend that you want to watch the Euros on holiday, and maybe you don't have access to the channel when you go abroad. Guess what? NordVPN will allow you to access the football. It will allow you to see things that is on telly, maybe in England, whilst you're abroad. It is a fantastic service. It's wonderful as well for booking flights. So make sure that you get hold of NordVPN. It really is brilliant. One Nord account allows you to connect 10 different devices. It really is that simple. So one account can cater for your entire family in 111 different countries. So for a huge discount, huge this is, trust me, you really want to get it. Click the link in the description below. You will get 4 extra months on your subscription. Just go to the link in the description below.
Right, let's talk about Italy. A very, very good win against Albania. They're the current holders. They've got a great manager who's obviously achieved very, very good things at club level. They've got good players. The fans are on point as well. I think that matters in terms of the atmosphere. What do we think about Italy and their result on the weekend?
Yeah, no, I think it absolutely says to me that people have been underrating them 100% because what they've got is excellent defensive foundations, and I think that'll be key.
Oh, Bastoni.
Yeah, good header as well, wasn't it?
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, that's what Italy's known for, right, over the years, is that defensive solidity. I think they're younger now, aren't they? That's a big thing for me. Like the last few tournaments, we've seen that the changing of the guard from the Chiellini and all these guys, Bonucci, have moved on. Thinking back to the final, obviously, when Chiellini had that little moment with Saka, you know, that was listen, they were super effective that era, but it did feel like their powers were waning. And I think even though they did win the last Euros, people didn't see it coming, really.
Yeah.
This one, I feel like they're a better side now, to be honest. Certainly more youthful side, so there's no reason they can't have a good run. Don't know how much we learned from the Albania game. Obviously, they're one of the lowest ranked teams in the tournament.
I think you learned something because it's the quickest goal in European Championship history. So they have to come back from being essentially 1-0 down as soon as the game kicks off. And you've said a lot about the youth of the side, and it's like it's a new side, relatively speaking. They've had to get back into the game, score 2 great goals. They had energy right to the final whistle. They're adaptable. They're hard to play against. At different points throughout the game, they were able to go to kind of 3 at the back, and DeMarco was pushing up. How far do you think... is it too early to say we can see them going far in this tournament based on Albania alone? Is it about how they perform against Spain, obviously coming up as well?
It was the way the players off the ball were so clearly in a system that Spalletti had set. One thing you'll notice about Spalletti is he waits to make substitutions, really waits, because he's got it in his head that once he makes those substitutions, he risks that system breaking. He's so strict in where the players need to be on the pitch. You notice Chiesa, he was really getting back, occupying defensively, and off the ball you could see sort of a diamond as well. They were in the perfect positions where they were supposed to be. He's got them so disciplined, and that's what makes me think they could go far, because they bought into what Spalletti's all about straight away, and we know what his improvement on players can be like from his time at Napoli.
Yeah, they've got a former West Ham boy up front, haven't they?
There's
What do you make of him?
another striker who looks amazing for everyone else apart from us. I mean, it's like Hilaire as well. They weren't even that bad. They didn't really get a proper go, did they, at West Ham? And it's annoying seeing them do well. But look, it works in that system. They've got a lot of... I mean, we talk about Bastoni, but the other centre-half, is it Calafiori? He had like 1 or 2 caps before Saturday. And I think that he really wanted the ball. He looked brave in possession. He wanted to get forward, which I like a lot. Yeah. And the fact that he's been thrown in so quickly speaks a lot of his talents as well.
But Bologna have been excellent this season. And I think that similar to Germany, Italy and Germany, the domestic leagues have had a really strong year across maybe about 10 teams in each league. And these are the players that we don't see week in, week out, the names we don't recognise. But those are the names that can stand out in tournaments. You see that with Italy every
his value's going up for sure, isn't he? Yeah.
1,000,000%. And also I saw some comments about kind of building this Italy side on Inter Milan. Obviously, they got to the Champions League final last season. Arguably could have had chances to maybe win the Champions League against Man City. It wasn't 3 or 4-0, it was 1-0. It was a tight game. So they've built their side on, Inter Milan getting back to being one of the best sides in Europe. I know Atalanta have done well as well in Europe, but maybe not as many players there. So
am I right in saying there's no AC Milan players in the squad?
No.
That's crazy.
That's kind of happened very many times before. That's pretty crazy, like the club's known for. And then you've obviously got an ex AC Milan player in Tonali that they're missing out in. So it's not even arguably full strength. If he was available, I'm sure he'd be in there. So
yeah.
I think that it's a way stronger side than last time.
I think the big one as well, we have to talk about Jorginho, because he won the European Championships, obviously at Wembley, beat England. He came third in the Ballon d'Or ranking. I think he's someone that we don't really talk about in these tournaments. Getting to quarterfinals, getting to semi-finals. He's good at penalties. I know his record maybe in the final couple of years at Chelsea struggled a little bit, but his penalty taking is good as well. Like, is there one standout player for you in terms of Italy's progression getting through the tournament?
Barella in the middle, 100%, because we've got no Verratti this time round, so a lot of the focus in terms of creating stuff from deep and higher up the pitch is going to be on Barella, but he was incredible against Albania.
Superb. I'm worried, Spent, mate. I'm worried.
He's a proper player, yeah. I mean, it feels a little bit like the Italy squad I remember growing up with. There's a few lads in there that are quite creative and they're going to do some damage. But yeah, Spain game's huge.
Yep.
I don't think they have to necessarily win the Spain game. We've seen teams lose in group stages and still go far.
Yeah.
They've got to really beat Croatia. Croatia don't look like they're at it at the same level they have been in past tournaments. And if they can get even a draw against Spain, they'll be looking very decent, because obviously Spain didn't look too bad either.
Let's talk about Spain. They've got a very young manager in De La Fuente, obviously Southgate-esque in terms of being in the youth setup at Spain and having that kind of first major role managing Spain. What did you make of Spain on the weekend?
I was really impressed. I was really impressed with the fact that they're willing to not hold the ball for too much. I think that's something last Euros that was their fault. They played some really good football, but they held the ball for too long and didn't really know what to do with it. Whereas this year, because they've got Nico Williams and Lamine Yamal, obvious options for a more direct route, they've got that extra thing they can do. So you don't know how to handle Spain this time around, I don't think.
I'm worried about both of them. I think Spain have got that. I think the big one, look, obviously as a biased Man City fan, I thought Rodri's absolutely superb. Yeah. Is it a red card?
It's on the edge, I think. But Rodri is a very popular player, isn't he? No one really wants to see him go. And I think that he's the best in the world in his position, isn't he? He's the best in the world in that position.
Yeah, he was superb, man.
Pep said it himself. He's the best midfielder in the world. Like, with him in there, I don't think there is areas of that Spanish team that I do think has a few weaknesses. Like centre half, I think that it could be got at a little bit against some really clinical strikers. Like Cucurella is starting for them. He was actually all right.
He was, yeah.
But we've seen him a lot now for Chelsea. And is he of the quality of left backs of old at Spain?
The keeper as well looks a little bit lightweight
obviously, for me. He's very well liked because he keeps people like Raya out of the squad.
Yeah.
But yeah, Spain and Italy are kind of in a similar level for me in my mind, is that I need to see them play each other, really.
Yeah.
Work out where they rank against the best.
But if Rodri gets sent off, which a lot of people think he deserves to be, then he doesn't play against Italy, and it could affect the trajectory of Spain and Italy in the rest of the tournament. Is it a clear red for you?
No, because I don't know the rules. I actually am being honest, I genuinely don't know the rules anymore, because double jeopardy, apparently that's not a thing anymore.
I think double jeopardy is only for goalkeepers. I think double jeopardy is only for goalkeepers. I don't think it's an outfield player.
Does it have to have malicious intent for it to be a red as well as a penalty? Is that the rule? I don't know about that. I don't actually know.
I actually did a ref course recently. I should know that for a video. And I don't know if it changes in the box really, but I know the understanding of a red card and what it is, and it shouldn't really affect where it is on the pitch. Ultimately, it does clearly in refs' minds. They make different decisions. But yeah, double jeopardy was one that I remember thinking about with my team. We got a red card for a handball on the line. I was like, you're going to give a penalty? They're going to score. You give a red card as well. But it's a goalkeeper rule, I think, double jeopardy.
Okay.
I don't think it applies to outfield players.
Jens Lehmann could have used that in Paris, couldn't he? Before he got sent off. Yeah, I think it's fair in terms of keeping him in the tournament as long as possible. And should we just make some quick bets in terms of Spain and Italy? I think Croatia. I think we would have talked more about Croatia in the podcast if they'd done well in the game. I think it looks a little bit long for them to do well in the tournament. Maybe I'm being a little bit too early with that one. Spain and Italy. If you had to put your heart on it or your head on it, maybe not your heart, Nieve. Who goes further in the tournament?
Italy. Because I think they've got a little bit more sort of adaptability to different kinds of opponents. And yeah, I think they've got more balance.
Yeah. Italy, what about you, mate?
Yeah, it's one of them where you don't know how bad is the wrong word, but how weak Croatia are until you see them play other teams. Because on paper, you'd say Croatia's a harder opponent than Albania, so Spain look quite good. But I want to see them play each other. If I had to go with one right now, I think I would go Spain, actually. And that's not just because I'm a bit bitter about the last Euros. And I think the Italy squad is probably more rounded. But Rodri, I do love Rodri.
He's the best midfielder in the world. He really is.
I'm not going to lie.
Superb.
Yeah, they've got some very good other players, but yeah, we'll see. Like Pedri, all these guys, like they've got a lot of quality there, but we'll see what happens when they play each other.
100%. Right, let's talk about the Dutch. They've just squeezed past Poland this weekend. Wout Weghorst rescued them late on after Gakpo equalised. Are you worried about the Dutch in this tournament?
I am. I'd be more worried if they had someone who wasn't Ronald Koeman as manager. I still don't think he gets the most out of that team at all. But I'm very concerned about them because I reckon they don't just play back four. I reckon they could play back three really well. They've got players they can bring in that we've not really seen. Players like Geertruida, Frimpong. I'm worried about the Dutch.
I'm worried as an England fan, but excited as well because they've got so many. I mean, Nathan Ake was superb, wasn't he?
Every single tournament with the Dutch. Like, everyone loves the Dutch, I think. I feel like, unless you're a rival and you're playing them on paper, because they're a fairly small nation, they produce such good footballers, and really, probably a little bit is because they never really win anything. Like, if you start winning things, you start to pick up a few enemies along the way. But they flatter to deceive for me because they've always had good squads. I can't remember a bad Dutch squad, right? They've got really good technical players, but they consistently underperform for me. Not just in how deep they go in tournaments, but also in the way they play with good players. Yep. And Nieve mentioned it there, but not just the name. She said, you've got people like De Ligt not even playing. I think weaknesses-wise, maybe firepower. Maybe look at some of the Dutch teams of old. They had like Kluivert, Van Nistelrooy, Bergkamp, so many names. They're not quite as good there, but they've got some really good players, and they played a Poland without Lewandowski. And it was close, like you say. So I think I'd love Netherlands to make a run, not at England's expense, of course, but I just don't see it. And I completely agree with Nieve on the Koeman shout. And it's not just Koeman; it's like their policy in general. It's like there's a rotating like selection of three managers they just go between. It's like Hiddink, and it's like Koeman. They have to be Dutch. They have to be a sort of Dutch footballing legend. Yeah. But that doesn't make you a great manager necessarily at international level.
He's not a great manager, but sometimes tournament football, it comes and goes so quickly. It doesn't matter if you're Guardiola. It doesn't matter if you're the next tactical innovator.
Inspire your players.
But I think he does.
I don't think he does.
He's one of the greatest Dutch players of all time.
It doesn't have to be a huge manager name. It's just show a little bit of. I feel like they're very stubborn in their policy. They try something different. England tried Capello and all these guys. Did it work? No, but they at least showed a desire to make it work. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I think they've got a decent chance. Conceding goals and limiting that factor in knockout football is huge. I think quarters, semis, that kind of range for me.
That's where they should be, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%.
Realistically, if we take our own biases out of the equation, Netherlands and England, there's probably not a lot between us in terms of quality. Like some people probably say I'm doing England a disservice here. I'm thinking about context as well, about how far we go in tournaments traditionally. Yeah. We're probably about the same level. We never win anything either. We won one thing. So I think it'd be interesting to hear a non-English or Dutch person's opinion on that comment. But both of us should be doing that sort of thing every tournament minimum.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I agree. Thanks very much for watching the Club podcast. Keep your eyes peeled. We'll be creating so much content throughout the Euros. It's no joke. We'll see you very soon.